Nacho cheese. This is the original flavor that defined Doritos for many people and helped shape the modern flavored chip market. Introduced nationally in the early 1970s, it was one of the first tortilla chips to move beyond simple salted corn into something more layered and intense. The flavor is built around a powdered cheddar-style profile, but it is not meant to taste exactly like real cheese. Instead, it leans into a sharper, more concentrated version of cheese with added tang from ingredients like lactic acid and tomato powder. That slight acidity is important because it keeps the richness from becoming overwhelming. As you eat, the taste develops in stages. The first impression is salty and savory, followed by a deeper, cheesy body, and finally a lingering tang that encourages another bite. The corn chip itself also plays a role, providing a toasted, slightly sweet base that supports the seasoning. Over time, nacho cheese has remained consistent even as food trends have changed, which is part of why it matters. It set a benchmark for how bold a snack could be without becoming too extreme, and it continues to act as a reference point for every new Doritos flavor that comes after it. Cool Ranch. This flavor marked a major shift away from cheese-dominated snacks and introduced a more herb-driven profile. Released in the mid-1980s, it brought the idea of ranch seasoning into a crunchy, shelf-stable form. The flavor is a blend of garlic, onion, tomato, and dairy-like notes designed to mimic ranch dressing, but with a stronger and more concentrated edge. Unlike nacho cheese, which hits with richness, Cool Ranch feels more layered and slightly lighter on the palate. The herbs create a savory complexity, while a subtle tang gives it a refreshing finish. As you continue eating, different notes become more noticeable, with garlic and onion standing out early and a creamy, almost cooling sensation appearing later. The balance is carefully controlled so that no single element dominates. This flavor became especially important because it showed that Doritos could succeed without relying on cheese as the main attraction. It opened the door for more experimental and globally inspired seasonings, expanding the brand's identity beyond its original concept. Spicy Nacho. This flavor builds directly on the nacho cheese foundation, but adds a noticeable layer of heat. Instead of changing the core identity, it enhances it, making it feel familiar yet more intense. The cheese profile remains the dominant element, but chili pepper seasoning is introduced to create a steady warmth that grows as you eat. The spice is not immediate or overwhelming. It develops gradually, allowing the cheese flavor to remain clear. This balance is important because it keeps the flavor approachable while still offering something new. The height also interacts with the tangy notes in the cheese, creating a sharper overall taste. As you eat more, the spice lingers slightly longer than the original nacho cheese, giving it a more persistent presence. This flavor matters because it represents one of the earliest ways Doritos adapted to the growing demand for spicy snacks. It bridges the gap between classic comfort and a more adventurous flavor profile, making it a natural step for people looking to explore beyond the original. Flamin' Hot Nacho. This flavor takes the idea of spicy nacho much further by shifting the focus towards heat as the main experience. Inspired by the success of Flamin' Hot snack lines, it amplifies the intensity while still keeping a hint of the cheese base underneath. The spice here is sharper and more immediate, often hitting the tongue quickly before settling into a longer-lasting burn. The cheese element becomes more of a background note, providing a slight richness that prevents the flavor from feeling two-dimensional. The seasoning often includes a combination of chili powders, acids, and salt, which together create a bright, aggressive taste. The acidity plays a key role, cutting through the heat and keeping the flavor from becoming dull. As you continue eating, the heat builds, creating a cumulative effect that defines the experience. This flavor reflects a broader shift in snack culture towards bold, high-impact tastes that are designed to stand out instantly. It appeals to those who want intensity rather than subtlety. Sweet Chili Heat. This flavor introduces a balance between sweetness and spice, creating a more layered and dynamic profile. It draws inspiration from Asian-style chili sauces, where sugar and heat are combined to create contrast. The first taste is slightly sweet, almost caramel-like, followed by a mild chili warmth that grows but never becomes overwhelming. There are also subtle savory notes, often resembling soy sauce or garlic, that add depth and prevent the sweetness from feeling too simple. As you eat, the flavor shifts back and forth between sweet and spicy, keeping the experience engaging. The texture of the chip helps distribute the seasoning evenly, allowing each bite to carry a similar balance. This flavor stands out because it moves away from purely savory or purely spicy categories and instead focuses on contrast. It represents Doritos' ability to draw from global flavor influences and adopt them into a snack format that still feels familiar. Spicy sweet chili. This variation is closely related to sweet chili heat, but adjusts the balance to emphasize spice slightly more. The sweetness is still present, but it acts more as a supporting element rather than the main feature. The chili heat is sharper and more noticeable earlier in the bite, giving it a stronger initial impact. At the same time, the savory base is often more pronounced, creating a deeper overall flavor. The combination of sweet, spicy, and savory elements remains, but the proportions create a different experience. As you eat, the spice tends to linger longer while the sweetness fades more quickly. This subtle shift shows how small changes in seasoning can significantly alter perception. It also highlights how Doritos can create multiple variations within a single flavor concept, each appealing to slightly different preferences. Taco. This flavor is designed to replicate the seasoning of a traditional taco filling, bringing a meal-inspired profile into a snack format. It includes a blend of spices such as cumin, chili powder, garlic, and tomato, creating a warm and savory taste. Unlike cheese-based flavors, taco focuses more on spice blends commonly used in cooking. The result feels familiar, almost like a simplified version of a seasoned meat filling. As you eat, the flavor develops gradually, with different spices becoming more noticeable over time. The cumin provides a slightly earthy base, while the tomato and chili add brightness and mild heat. The overall effect is balanced and not overly intense, making it easy to keep eating. This flavor stands out because it shows Doritos can translate complete food experiences into a single chip, rather than focusing on just one dominant taste. Blazin' Buffalo and Ranch combines two distinct profiles into one layered experience. The buffalo element is based on a vinegar-forward hot sauce, delivering a sharp, tangy heat that hits quickly. The ranch component adds a creamy, herb-based contrast that softens the intensity. As you eat, the two elements interact, creating a shifting balance between spicy and cooling sensations. The vinegar tang is especially noticeable at first, followed by a smoother, more rounded finish from the ranch seasoning. This push and pull effect keeps the flavor from becoming predictable. The combination reflects a popular pairing found in foods like chicken wings, adopted into a dry seasoning format. It highlights how Doritos often builds flavors by combining familiar ideas rather than creating something entirely new. Poppin' Jalapeno focuses on the distinct taste of jalapeno peppers, offering a greener and fresher type of heat. Unlike deeper chili-based spices, jalapeno has a brighter, slightly grassy flavor that stands out immediately. The heat level is moderate, allowing the natural taste of the pepper to remain clear. There is often a subtle tang that enhances the freshness, along with a mild savory base that rounds out the profile. As you eat, the pepper flavor remains consistent rather than building dramatically, making it more approachable. This flavor is notable because it highlights a single ingredient rather than a complex blend, giving it a more focused identity. Salsa verde, inspired by green salsa, using elements like tomatillo, lime, and mild chili peppers. The result is a bright, slightly sour taste that feels lighter than many other Doritos flavors. The acidity is the most noticeable feature, providing a sharp edge that cuts through the corn base. As you eat, the citrus-like notes become more prominent, followed by a gentle heat that adds depth without overpowering the freshness. The balance between tangy and savory elements makes it feel refreshing compared to heavier, cheese-based options. This flavor demonstrates how Doritos can capture the essence of a sauce and translate it into a snack format but still feels familiar.